right, I want to welcome everybody to another Taco Tuesday. I'm Luke Garrity. I'm one of the pastors here at the Vineyard. A lot of you that might watch these videos, though, might not attend the Vineyard. So what we're doing is basically I'm sitting down, or my wife or other people are sitting down with people who are part of our church community to get to know them better, and we're eating tacos. Tacos are always good.
They're the bomb.
Yeah.
As my wife says.
Yeah, I think your wife's right. Yeah. And so I'm sitting with Sean. And Sean Michael, not Michaels.
Not Michaels, like you always say.
Yeah. I know, I always try. And I consciously know it too, because I always make sure to spell it that way.
Or the Heartbreak Kid, as other people call it.
The Heartbreak Kid?
Heartbreak Kid. If you're into 90s wrestling.
Yeah, and a few people who will watch this will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sean, welcome.
Thank you.
We got tacos from Kaloca's again.
Kaloca's, they're amazing and probably the best. I mean, I got the fish tacos.
Yeah.
Which it's got to be the best fish I've ever had.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
So, and then my wife always gets the shredded beef, which is the best we've ever had in our life at any Mexican food restaurant.
We just ate with you guys there. We've gone to, I think I've gone to Kaloca's like 5 times last week.
Yeah.
And we went out on, was that Friday night?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, we got there and we found out that you had been there Thursday night.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
basically,
like
Kaloca's is becoming the Vineyard place. So I'm gonna eat tacos and listen to you talk, and that's gonna be the best part of this, because you will have to talk. But like, I mean, let's just, start with this question. So you serve in youth ministry here at the Vineyard. We'll come back to that in a minute. But like, what are some things about you that are important for people to know?
I'm kind of an introvert, but also extroverted. So socially, I can be an introvert at sometimes, but I definitely like to communicate and create relationships with people around me. So I can be quiet at sometimes, and people mistake that as I am standoffish and don't want to be around them, but that's completely opposite. I'm just waiting for somebody to come to me and say hi or something like that, so I can start a conversation. So that's one thing about me. I have a growing relationship with God every day, where I'm always trying to do something to better myself and grow in relationship with God and bring that into my family. So we're always trying to do something.
Yeah. So you said family.
Yeah.
So like, who's your family?
Yeah, gotta mention those guys, right? So I have Chloe, which is my stepdaughter, but they're my daughters. So my daughter Chloe, my daughter Tegan, and my 5-year-old son Ian. So the 2 daughters, they're teenagers. And then my older son, which is now 18 in college, Kaden. So 4.
Yeah, you have 4 kids, but you also have a wife.
I have a wife.
And your
wife is Lindsay.
Your wife is like my wife, Dawn, and I think that she's one of the nicest people. Yeah,
and she is. She's got the biggest heart for anybody. Doesn't matter who you are, and she's one of the least judgmental people on this planet. So can't say enough about my wife. So if you happen to meet her, then she will talk your ear off and want to know everything about you.
Lindsay's amazing. So get in there, dude.
Yeah, I want to try this.
These are very crispy, and I'm kind of curious if the microphone's going to pick this. Man, Kaloca's is awesome. So, like, I want to say a couple things about your family too, because I love them. Yeah, your wife is one of the nicest. Tegan is awesome. Tegan I just like her vibe. She's got a cool vibe.
Very energetic.
Yeah, and Chloe, she would be my favorite again if she would make me and bake me some more treats.
Hint, Chloe.
Yeah,
I know what you want.
Chloe, please. Yeah, every time Chloe, your daughter, makes me anything, I always have to eat as many of them as I can quickly, because everybody else in my family steals all of it.
I kind of feel your pain.
Yeah. Your sons are awesome too. I got roller skating. I went roller skating with your youngest. I dodged him.
He was trying so hard to stay up his first time roller skating, and he got so upset with himself that he couldn't stay up. He just had to stop doing it. But he he wanted to keep going and push through it, and he wanted to be the best at roller skating.
He was in it.
He will eventually get there if he wants to keep doing it.
He will. Yeah. So what brought you to the Vineyard? I'm kind of, because you've been a part of the church for about as long as we have. I think
about
you came
6 years or so, maybe. Yeah. Actually, it would have been.
I think you started coming after we'd been here for almost a year.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah. So, we ended up at the Vineyard because we were going to a church locally nearby, and we just weren't being fed the way that we wanted to. And we were suggested by the actual pastor of that church to check out the Vineyard and come talk to Luke because of the values and the good stuff that was happening there. So the moment we came, and I believe it was around Christmas time, around that time, my memory is really bad. So,
I think you're right. Actually, it wasn't quite a year. It was like 6 months.
It was like 6 months after you.
So
it was right around Christmas time, and we just noticed the moment we walked in, we were just welcomed, like we were part of the family. So it was something that we hadn't experienced going to some of the churches that we've been to, because we went to multiple churches.
Yeah.
And we've been, we went to the Stirring. We loved the worship there, and we loved the atmosphere and the message, but we just weren't being fed through community there, and we just felt like another number. There was a number of other churches where we felt the same. It's just you weren't greeted as you were here. The people here were genuine and legitimately wanted to know who you were and how they can help you if you had a situation.
That's cool.
That was the moment we felt that, because we were very I want to say judgmental of churches, because we try not to be judgmental, but
I felt judged.
But we had this inclination of how these other churches treated us, and we were very hesitant on going into a church.
Yeah.
So once we saw and felt the compassion of the congregation here and the members, and how they accepted us and had no judgment towards us,
that's really cool.
That was it. That was like,
that's encouraging. I think now that we're both pastoring. Right? It's like those are good things for a church to do.
It is.
It's the people. It says about the people, but because I know I feel the same way about a lot of people here. I always feel very welcome. And maybe it's because I have to be welcomed, but not really.
No.
Some of the people are.
They'd be like, "Get out of here! We don't want you here."
Yeah, they would tell me, but yeah. And I it's funny that the pastor you're speaking of. I mean, I remember he would be like, "Yeah, hey, I'm encouraging these people to check out your church. I think they'd be a great fit." And it was always like, really? like that's cool, but wait, I mean, and I think that I learned a lot about that, about how ultimately it's about the kingdom of God, right? We want to see, I think there's a lot of really great churches in Red Bluff, and I've told people like, hey, I think this church right here would be a great fit for you as well. They probably fit either your theology or maybe your practices well. So that's kind of cool. Very unique though, because I think that pastor in particular, had a kingdom vision too.
He did, but he was being, put into a different direction. So,
just shout out to Josh.
Yes, Josh, we love you.
Come back and have tacos.
Exactly, you love tacos. I know you do.
Yeah,
talk about them all the time.
Come back and buy tacos for me. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a great place, and for our family, and we loved everything about the Vineyard. It was growth, not even just in community, but growth in the Word and how it was spoken. Knowing that Luke comes from a background in theology, it was refreshing to know, especially since my background is Southern Baptist, where it's about the Bible, and it's like a big Bible study. So knowing Luke actually knows the Word and how to interpret it correctly.
I try.
Try to. Well, for the most part, I mean, you interpret it and you're able to convey that in a way that is relatable to everyday people. So that was what's really important.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. How's your fish tacos, by the way?
I'm trying to eat them, but I keep talking. So
I'm like,
you talk a little bit.
I'm like, I was like, maybe I should.
Great.
Maybe I should eat them.
Right.
While you talk.
Just so you guys can see, look at the chunk of fish. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but that fish.
It looks really good. Yeah. I had an al pastor and a carnitas, and they were so good, as you noticed. I just inhaled it. I haven't eaten. I was hungry, so yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about your involvement in the church, and I'll talk while you eat, so that way you can catch up.
It's all falling apart on me now.
Yeah,
so
you need to get.
I've waited too long.
Yeah, that's the problem with certain tacos. If you don't kill them right away, that was not the problem with mine.
No.
But so when I first met you, we sat down and talked, and you shared with me. I remember it. You shared that you had a sense of being called to ministry. Mm-hmm. You were like, I don't really know what that means. I don't know if that means I plant a church or if I just serve in a church. I don't really know. But I remember the conversation very distinctly, and if I remember correctly, we were actually down there in the cafe area.
I believe so.
Yeah,
like I said,
I think you were like helping make coffee or something. You were doing something. I just remember we would start chatting, and you said that, and I remember at the time, I was like, cha-ching! I filed it in the back, like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And
no, I think I remember that actually.
Yeah,
that conversation.
And I was like, oh, cool, like that's interesting. And so fast forward 5 years, and about a year ago, ish, I was actually thinking and praying, and we had a few people who were helping out with our youth group, but like just hadn't really identified somebody to really lead it in this next season. Yeah, coming out of the global pandemic and trying to move forward. And I remember you popped into my mind, and I was like, wait a minute. This guy's been showing up eating tacos.
Yeah, no, I remember that conversation, and there's kind of a small story of how it's been on my heart, and, through God, and when you reached out to me, it was like everything was being put in place for it. So
yeah,
and it's not an overnight thing. I wasn't expecting, it's gonna be like I'm the pastor of this, and it's gonna be great and grand. It's a journey, so it's not something that's overnight perfect. It's God's teaching me something every day, every week that I do this, how I can better myself and better the youth. So
yeah, it seems like, well, it's been cool too, because obviously we've gotten to spend more time together, which is a delight for me, because so Sean and I both have a lot of similar interests, kind of.
Yeah.
I love videography. I am fascinated by cameras, and that's why we do these YouTube things, because I just like it. And you are a photographer. Very good. So you do all of for the most part, you are like the vineyard photographer.
The vineyard, yeah. like, I'm the vineyard photographer.
Yeah. Par excellence.
Yeah. So
generally, you get a text at like 8 in the morning. Hey, bring your camera.
Yeah. Hey. And then, or I ask you, do you want me to take pictures? Yes.
Yeah, I've never said no. You should just take them. But yeah, great. So a lot of our social media posts that people see, you're behind the camera. And so that's been good. But so I think, we've gotten to spend a lot more time, and we're looking forward to doing more things.
More projects.
Yeah. We want to do some video projects. We both now have cameras that work together.
Capable, yes.
Yes.
And capable of doing the projects we want to do.
It's true, yeah. So anyway, that's been cool, but it's like you've been growing into and learning more and getting experience working with the kids, and I know several kids that have expressed how you've made a difference in their life. It's like it feels like you don't always hear those stories, right? I mean, in fact, I think every pastor goes through these seasons where it's like, am I making a difference? So it's kind of encouraging when you do have people tell you, hey, this actually helped me. So
it is, and that's kind of where I don't really know if it's affecting the kids or not, or how it's going to mold and shape them. But I just know, growing up in the church, youth group was my my way of getting out of my situation at home, or getting away from the world, and being able to, it wasn't even about God or Jesus at that time, even though that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was more about getting away and having, friends to be around, and community, and a safe place to go. And God, being able to know the things that they were talking about during youth group gave me a good foundation, because I may not have been there just for the teachings. I was there for the fun and the kids, the community. The teachings helped give that foundation, that seed for later in life, that I can look back on and go, that teaching really helped me in that situation.
That's awesome.
So by doing that and seeing that the fruit from what I got out of youth group, it only accentuated what I wanted to give the youth of our community. And I've had, a lot of talks with God throughout the years, even, before I came to the Vineyard, and God kept saying, you need something for the youth here. You need like a youth church. I don't know what that looks like, but you need a ministry for the teens, because they're the ones that are going to be teaching the next generation. To keep me alive in the world, I need my children.
That's good. Yeah, so you've got a lot of vision for the future of kids. Yeah, that's great. Well, cool, man. Well, it's been good sitting down and getting to know you more. And if you're in the area and you've got if you're in 6th through 12th grade, I'm not sure why you'd be watching this YouTube channel, but if you are, that's awesome. But if you've got kids that are 6th through 12th grade, have them reach out, or bring them to the Vineyard on Sunday evenings from 6 to 7:30. 6 to 7:30. And you'll see me on another episode of Taco Tuesdays as soon as I can get to Tuesday, because I'm always looking forward to eating tacos. So yeah. So hey, thanks.
Thank you for having me on Taco Tuesdays and buying me tacos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime.
My pleasure. My
Anytime.
pleasure.